Probably mute.
Okay, great. We're actually working beautifully. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to remove the things that don't need to be here so we can see everyone's faces better. There we go. So welcome everyone on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you happen to be seeing us. This is Talk About TV's weekly series, What You Don't Know About Experiential Outdoor Hospitality. And today I am very delighted to be here with special guest Claire Lagon. Many of you already know Kim and Pernell because we've been coming on pretty consistently every month, and they've been sharing their expertise regarding the lagoon option for all of you in outdoor hospitality. But today I am here with the co-presidents of Clair Lagon, and let's make sure I do pronounce your names properly, gentlemen, because I wrote them down. Co-presidents of Clair Lagon, Anton Heber Sufren and Jeffra Sufren, Heber Sufren. They're brothers. So why don't you guys say your names and say it with a French accent if you will, because
Yeah,
you've come to the US all the way from France, and we are so honored to have you here with us today.
thank you so much. Yeah, it's Antoine and Geoffroy Hebersu.
Antoine. Oh my gosh, that sounds
Yeah,
so much more beautiful than I could ever make it sound. So
but
thank you.
it's also difficult to say in French, so usually we have to
Yeah.
spell out. Yes. So don't worry about it.
Well, welcome. We are absolutely delighted to have you here today. And perhaps you would like to just kick us off and share a little bit about the company, how it came to be, and how we are so fortunate to be on this call with you today.
Sure. Thank you for having us. So Clair Lagon is a company that exists, that's been doing lagoons for more than 20 years. It started in France. It still is there. It was created by someone who is retired now, who used to work at a sewage treatment plant in France, and he always wondered why he was able to have very good quality water with the filtration that he had in sewage treatment plants, and this was really bad water that he was filtering, and he ended up with really good quality water. And he was always wondered why we put chlorine and stuff like that in our pools where we bathe, uh, because that's not good for your skin, that's not good for anything. So he started experimenting with having natural filtration, the same way as in a sewage treatment plant, a small one, obviously. So he was creating these ponds and hooked them up with this filtration system that worked really well. He started with koi fish, and he was making ponds with that. And then one day he had a client who wanted a swimming lagoon. So he started experimenting, putting sand in the water. Initially, it didn't work really well. The sand was turning black. There was a lot of stuff that didn't work. But he continued to improve the product, adding layers upon layers to make sure the hydraulics functioned properly and the system was good. And after a couple of years, he ended up with something that really works really well and works well when there's a lot of people in it. So he started selling these lagoons that looked beautiful to his friends. And then he was contacted by the outdoor hospitality businesses who wanted to do one for their clients. And he started that. I think the first one he did was in 2010. And it was the first one that he made. But when you're selling to the outdoor hospitality industry, obviously the health authorities are going to test the water to make sure that it's good for bathers to go in and it's not dangerous, especially when you don't have chlorine or any chemicals in it. They want to understand if the water quality is great. And to their surprise, it was really good water quality. In fact, out of the waterfall, it was almost drinking water quality. So that was really good. And I think he did 30 lagoons before he wanted to retire. So that was back in 2019. And Geoffroy and I were brothers, and we were looking in. We worked in the water industry before, but mostly on the water treatment side. And we were looking for a company to acquire from someone who was going to retire. And we wanted to. We stumbled upon Clair Lagon and really fell in love with the product. We called Clair Lagon's clients, and they were all saying that their clients come to their site just for the lagoon. So it was interesting to hear that. And Geoffroy and I took over the company in 2021, early 2021. So it's going to be 4 years now. And we expanded the business. We realized that everybody wanted this in France. So we started making a lot of lagoons. We improved the filtration. We improved the looks of it. We added, rocks, trees, features that look nice. And we realized that we're not in the business of selling sand lagoons only, but in the business of selling natural looking water features. Using our proprietary filtration, we can do sand lagoons like in the Caribbean, but we can do like rock lagoons like you would find in a mountain. We can do a lot of things using our technology. And it worked really well in France. We expanded to the residential market with rocks inside of the lagoon as well as sands. And we realized that we were kind of the only ones to be able to offer full sand lagoons in Europe, but also in the United States. So we started exploring, I think it was probably 2 years ago, exploring what it would take to come to the US. And we met Kimberly and Pernell at that time. And they joined us earlier this year, I believe it was in March, to take our product and put it in everybody's hands in the US. So that's how we're here.
That's wonderful, very powerful. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Because this is a panel discussion, perhaps we could let Kimberly and Pernell share a little bit about what it's been like coming to the United States. And this episode is actually sponsored by Evolve Lodging, and we have the CEO of Evolve Lodging, Randy Hendrickson, who is the expert in experiential outdoor hospitality. And then maybe we could come full circle to you, Randy, and just go around a game. Kim and Pernell, would you like to share a little bit?
There we go. I think you can hear us now. So yeah, it's been, quite an incredible experience. I think from the moment that I saw the product, I knew I was in love with it. And yeah, I have always enjoyed being outdoors and being in connection with nature. And so as soon as I saw the product, right, I fell head over heels in love with it. And then, meeting the team was equally as exciting, to be able to work with such great people to bring this concept here to the United States. So the journey, we've been on board now 8 months. So we're 8 months into our journey. And it has just been so rewarding. The hospitality industry as a whole is very welcoming. And so to be able to bring such a great product that can drive revenue and really enhance a property is really just an honor to be able to work with such great people to accomplish our goals.
Randy, I'm curious, like when you discovered
Yeah.
this product and the people and everything, how has that impacted you as with Evolve Lodging?
Well, to a massive degree, because, and of course, Michelle, you and I talk about these kind of things often, but the need for uniqueness and the need to stand apart and to be one of one and not one of many, right? And so in outdoor hospitality, I've been doing it for about 30 years now. And it's not to put the whole industry down, but there tends to be some level of sameness and a lot of amenity packages around a lot of resorts. And so you're always looking for that difference maker, the thing that stands apart, that says this is unique and different. You need to experience this. When I first ran across Clair Lagon, it was, although I tend to be somewhat of a skeptic by nature, it was immediately, I need to talk to these people. This is the thing. So as soon as I jumped on with Kim, I mean, we just kind of hit it off right off the bat, right? I mean, business philosophy and everything. But more than that, it's literally just that. It's the ability to offer something to your guests that is unlike anything that outdoor hospitality has seen before. They just really haven't. So on even a smaller footprint, like even an acre footprint, what a difference maker, and how that can drive revenue through food and beverage, other accommodations, things of that nature. To me, it is quite simply one of the smartest investments that an operator can make in outdoor hospitality. And I would shamelessly say to anybody watching this, you owe it to yourself to talk to Kim and Purnell and learn more about this product. We think it's going to be a game changer. It already is, and it's going to continue to be that. Uniqueness, innovation, quality product, great people. Absolutely.
Do you all hear similar questions from outdoor hospitality operators? Like what are their concerns and questions that come up? Most people are used to swimming pools, right? Concrete swimming pools. So I'm curious what the response has been, moving, as Randy said, from what has always been to what possibly could be.
Yeah, you're right. People tend to, at first, when they discover the lagoons, they tend to compare us to a regular swimming pool. So they're asking about the depth, they're asking about, how big it can be, they're asking about the maintenance. We say that they don't have to use chemicals, so they're asking about that as well. And we really have to start by saying you should not consider this as a swimming pool. It's like you have a beach on your resort now. And if you look at the depth example is a good one because they're like, who's going to do laps in a lagoon, right? Like if people want to swim, how's that going to work? And I always tell, look at the people on the beach. Most of the time, they're not doing laps. They have water up to their waist, and they're playing with rackets and with balls, and they're jumping in the water and having fun with their kids. And then they're going to relax on the sandy beach. And that's exactly what they do with lagoons. So you can have as much depth as you want, but that's missing the point. Since we have sand in the lagoon, people are usually in the shallower water, and they're just lying down in just enjoying themselves. So it's really about considering a new way of having a water feature at your resort. It's not a pool, and it's as Randy said, it's something very unique. And that's what we realized in France. Everybody has a pool, and if you're in an outdoor hospitality business, you're expected to have some kind of a pool at your site. So having one is not differentiating from your competitors. But having a lagoon is something that draws a lot of interest, and people are actually booking. Now in France, we have clients saying, we have prospects calling us saying, oh, we're investigating about a lagoon because a lot of people are calling, asking if we have a lagoon before they make a reservation. So that's an interesting change of events. That's why we the other questions that they ask is about maintenance, and we have to say you switch from a maintenance where you have to control how much chlorine, your pH, everything is like some sort of chemist maintenance that you have to do in a pool, and you switch to a natural environment maintenance. You have to rake your sand. You have to put the sand back up on the shore if it's gone a little bit too low. You have to make sure that people don't throw cigarettes on the sand or anything like that. And that's a different kind of maintenance, but it's also not you don't need to be very qualified to have this maintenance done. So you can have a couple of students who will spend their summer with their feet in the water, just cleaning a natural environment, and that's really better for them.
And we usually spend a lot of time. That being said, we then spend a lot of time talking about how to activate this new space, and especially the beach, as Antoine was saying, because it's by essence it's a space where you can do and offer services that you wouldn't be able to do on a regular swimming pool. So for example, a lot of our customers are doing yoga courses in the morning on the sand. They have like a beach bar and the juice bars and beach volley and stuff like that. So a lot of this space, and we like to say that it's a profitable asset for our customers.
Yeah.
It really is, because they can think of, and we can think with them about a lot of different new revenue streams for their business.
Yeah.
So that's very enjoyable to sell and with our customers.
Yeah, and that's also something.
Randy, Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
that's also
Anton.
something that you can use year round because like if you have a pool in the winter and it's too cold to jump in it, there's no real point in going and sitting alongside the pool, right? But if you have a lagoon and a beach like that, you can go and put your feet in the water like you would do on a regular beach, even in the winter. Play with your kids doing sandcastles in the sand. That's doable any time of the year. So that's also something that our clients like is you can activate this area for longer than if it was just a pool.
Randy, it sounds like massive amounts of opportunity for
Oh,
revenue for an outdoor hospitality. Do you want to speak to that a little bit, the opportunity for these operators?
yeah, absolutely. So, there's so many things that I love about this, and I'll try to keep it fairly concise for now. But you hit about a couple of things that, as an operator, you're always sensitive to. One is being the maintenance costs and the staffing costs. Well, right off the bat, it's intuitively obvious to me, as it was from day one, that when I think of the properties I've managed that have a pool, you've got a staff and they've got to go sweep the concrete deck and hose it off. Number one, there's water savings. You're not hosing off the sand, but you're wasting a lot of water to hose off your pool deck. It takes more people to get that unit ready than it would a lagoon, arguably, because you have sand and yes, you have to rake it and whatnot like that. But your maintenance costs are, I think, less in the long run with a lagoon versus a pool. But here's the thing that's really interesting to me, which is when I think about outdoor hospitality, you think about the resort that you're thinking about going to, if you're an RV or a glamp or whatever like that. And you're going there for the resort, and oh, by the way, they have a pool. You kind of expect they're going to have a pool, some body of water, but you don't book your reservation because of the pool, you book it because of the resort. Now we're flipping that entire thing around. Now you're coming because you have a lagoon that happens to have a resort. So the focus is quite different. Now I'm making a reservation precisely because you have the lagoon. And for an existing property that's considering your CapEx budgets, it's the end of the year, you're looking for where you're going to be deploying capital next year. Think in terms of this as that amenity that you invest in with a higher anticipated return. And I say that because you can't quantify how many people are staying with you because of your pool. You can quantify how many people are staying with you because of your lagoon. When you have rental palapas around that lagoon and they're renting those palapas or those sun structures, very nicely done outdoor furniture, the TV and like little mini hut type of thing like that. When you're booking revenue for where they're staying on the perimeter of the lagoon, you can quantify the return on investment. And I'll tell the world out there, if you ever want to just look at the calculator that we've built at Evolve Lodging that quantifies this, we can demonstrate the return on invested capital with the lagoon. You can't do that with a pool. So when you've got people coming because of the magnet attraction of the lagoon and reduced maintenance costs and revenue opportunities and a reason to show up there, my gosh, you've got it all. The one last thing I'll say is I don't know that any of us have sat at a resort that had a pool and said, I think I'll stay one more day because they have a pool here. It doesn't happen. But when you have a lagoon, it's like, I'm hearing Jimmy Buffett over the speakers. I've got food poolside. I just went to swam over here and got a drink or the cocktail. I'm sitting in this great cabana. Let's do 2 more days. The extended stay and the repeat business economic model is beyond dispute. So how can you beat that? Lower maintenance costs, higher revenue? Yeah, I'm in.
And the the third thing for the perfect trifecta that keeps my mind keeps coming back to is that people who work in outdoor hospitality, people who have these properties are becoming more and more cognizant of the value of sustainability
Right.
and proper green practices. And this is an extraordinary way for them to stand out. And it's always so lovely to be able to do the right thing and still produce massive amounts of revenue, right? So you produce all of the experience for the guests and you're also really doing it in a sustainable way. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah,
Who
and
wants
again,
to speak? Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
well, just to tag on a little bit to what I was saying, but one of the big things in outdoor hospitality is you want the initial guest and you want the repeat business, and the key is in the repeat business. And I would just say it again, I don't know that anybody in any property I've ever managed has cited as the reason for returning, I liked your pool. Even though we've had some great pools at properties, it's just not a top five reason for to come back. With a lagoon, I think that argument completely goes away. I had a great time at the lagoon. Where am I going to go next year? I'm going back to the lagoon. I want to see what they're doing this year. That repeat business, that sticky guest, that's what you want. You want to, and of course, the viral, the word of mouth. Not a lot of people in this day and age are going to a property and taking a picture of the pool and putting on Instagram and saying, I swam. Who
Yeah.
cares? What they are going to do is say, look at the palm trees and this cool bamboo hut there with the lagoon and the rock formations and all that kind of stuff. Instagram, your marketing dollars, all you property owners gets leveraged exponentially higher because you have a photo worthy attraction and they want to tell everybody about the experience they had. It's an
Yeah.
experience economy. We're an experience business. Lagoons are an experience.
And we also have our clients tell us that their clients are FaceTiming their family while swimming in the lagoon, just asking them to guess where they are. And it's impossible to not say, "Oh, where are you in the Caribbean somewhere?" And no, I'm in the middle of nowhere. You know, in the
And it's also very good for retention on site. So you are very right, Randy, when you're speaking about the repeat business and the fact
Yes.
that Lagoon makes people want to come back, but it's also very good for retention on site during the day. And we see this in France, and you may have a lot of attraction or stuff to do outside the campsite. But usually families can come back and spend the better of their day on the lagoon, and this is an opportunity to sell them something. So that's also some a return we had from our customers, and which is very good, we think. Yeah.
And families are really loving it, especially if you have young kids. When you go to a pool with young kids, you're always worried that they're going to fall into the pool, right? So you can be, like relaxing completely. You always have an eye out for where they are and are they doing, the right thing. But on a lagoon, we realize that it's like a beach, but you have no currents, no waves, not too many people, so you can lose your kids, and they can't fall in the lagoon the way they would fall in a pool. So it's really relaxing for families, and they tend to, as Geoffroy said, spend their day there.
Yeah.
And then they expect to be fed and they brought some drinks and juices and
entertained.
and entertained. So that's why we say it's an investment that you can recoup, definitely. If you put some high-end lodging overlooking lagoons, it's like you have a sea view lodging all of a sudden. So, and nobody's paying more money to have their lodging look at a pool. But if you're looking at a lagoon paradise like that, you can actually rent these at a higher price. And all of our clients are not just putting a lagoon where it's anywhere, but most of the time they're building premium lodging around the lagoon, and they're just considering the lagoon as a new area in their existing business.
Yes.
So this is a trending movement in France, and I'm wondering, Pernell and Kim, what is the opportunity here right now then in the United States? How, is this a huge opportunity for someone to be a first mover on this? Is the space already becoming crowded? What do you see here?
Jeremy.
Yeah, no, there's a tremendous opportunity from what we're seeing. With all the trade shows that we've attended, we've had, really great feedback in terms of our lagoons and how they're sustainable. And again, how they can be overlaid with amenities such as, the lodging that you guys offer. So the way that we look at it as well is that, our lagoons can be scaled and they can be used in a lot of different applications, not only for retreats, but they can also be, utilized in the residential setting as well. So, we like to make sure that, our lagoons have a variety to them in terms of the application in which they can be used. So the feedback that we've gotten has been so positive, and it's very encouraging. One of the things that really drew me to it initially was the fact that it was a one-on-one product, and it's very unique. And again, it was so sustainable in terms of being environmental friendly, as well as the energy consumption that it takes compared to a traditional pool. So Randy hit on it earlier, right? When you have the comparison with maintenance, compared to a traditional pool, our lagoons are also more energy efficient as compared to a traditional pool as well. So it offers a lot of different benefits. And again, we've gotten a lot of great feedback from prospective customers in that realm.
Yeah, I mean, all those things are so, I mean, it's easy to see why Evolve Lodging is very excited to work with Clair Lagon. We see ourselves as the natural pairing of two great elements that come together so well, right? So I don't want to make this an Evolve commercial, but when you think about accommodations around something like this, yes, you can quantify that revenue, but it even goes beyond that, I think, because again, I'm not trying to throw all swimming pool builders out there under the bus here, but literally, if you're sitting at the pool, there might be a couple things you might buy when you're sitting by the pool. That's certainly true. Think about the lagoon, though. If you've got some sort of a sunshade palapa, quasi-enclosed type of structure, it's got a couch out there, you've got some shade relief. Maybe there's a TV in there. Maybe you've got some limited grab and go food and beverage, or even a more robust food operation. The end product is you have a guest who's going to spend a lot more money at the property. And I mean a lot more money. They might even decide, I'm having so much fun, instead of just the palapa for the day, let's just roll over into that accommodation. Let's just stay at that little bunkhouse or that little cottage over there overlooking the lagoon. And now what have you done to your revenue? But the key takeaway from this whole thing is you can't put a price on an experience. You can put a price on an accommodation. The experience is how it makes you feel. If I'm having a warm, relaxing time, the water is there, the ambiance is there, the music, the food, the lodging, the accommodations, I might drop 200, 400, 500 bucks for that stay, and I'm the happiest customer in the world because I had an experience that I can't quantify monetarily. But we can quantify it monetarily as the resort operator. We see the dollars coming in, and let's face it, let's reduce it down to the basics. In outdoor hospitality, you want happy customers spending money. They're doing both at a lagoon.
Yeah, there's one thing I might add is when you're talking to clients who operate in the glamping industry, they usually have a very nice site, right, with trees, and the idea for them of digging a hole and pouring concrete in it and then filling that with chemicals, for most of them it's not part of their culture and they don't want to do it. That's why most of the glamping sites are around the lake, existing lake, but they rarely build a pool because that's that goes against everything they believe in. With our lagoons, we can do whatever shape you need, and we don't pour concrete. So basically, if you have trees that you like, we can build a lagoon around the trees. We don't have to put palm trees there. You could use the trees that you already have on site. And again, the color of the sand is up to you. We can put rocks in it, not rocks in it, and you never have to put any chemicals in the water. That fits way better with the new owners of these glamping sites.
Yeah, another great point, because again, with the pool, you've got to go to a lot deeper depth and you've got the underground plumbing that's way beneath. You can't weave it in between the trees so much as you can with a lagoon. You can't make the lagoon chase the landscape that the landscape has given you. So what is your option? Cut down some trees, dig them out, and put in a concrete tube. And oh, by the way, you better really love that swimming pool configuration because that's the way it's going to look for the next 20 years. Right. But the lagoon, you have the ability to your point, I think it's a super important contouring the lagoon to what the land gives you. That's what you want in a natural environment.
Exactly.
I'm ready to buy a lagoon.
Yeah, so for everyone out there who is serious about creating experiences for their guests, to me, this is kind of a no-brainer. And especially when you're talking about connecting with your guests, connecting your guests to nature. I love what you just shared, Anton. that this is a connection to nature that you might not already have on your property, and you can just make it beautiful and look very natural. It's not like you're bringing the Caribbean to the Rocky Mountains or something like that. So yeah, this is a tremendous opportunity for anyone who really truly values experiential outdoor hospitality. It's kind of a magical solution on so many levels, especially
Absolutely.
right now. You know, when people are thinking like all these people coming into the space, how do I really differentiate myself? And we're coming up on December where everybody's planning. So it's a great time to have these conversations. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to share today?
You know, I could go on for an hour, so I'm gonna bite my tongue.
I mean, anything that you want to share that has not yet been shared is great.
Yeah,
I-
please.
No, I'm just sharing what happened in France because there is a lot of campsites in France. It's actually the European country where you find the most campsites. It's 8,000 sites in France, and a lot of European tourists come to France, and they used to stay in these type of accommodations. And we've seen the industry move towards more nature, and you know, in order to attract the new generation, they had to move away from the gigantic pools and, you know, like slides and stuff that didn't really look natural. People are trying to find a natural escape. And we've seen this more and more. People are refurbishing their site to you know, have more nature around, and the lagoon has been a part of that. And they're also trying to increase revenue per night, of course, and having a resort of that holds a lagoon is a way for them to do that. So we're participating in the premium of these sites, and the way that people are looking for more nature, definitely the lagoon helps attracting these people.
Well, it most certainly does. Couldn't agree more. And you know, there is one other thing I would like to add into this, and I'm putting on my developer hat here. I would encourage anybody listening to this to reach out to Kim and Purnell and just initiate a conversation and just learn more about what these lagoons are. But let's go one step beyond that, because we've worked with Kim and Purnell on sort of an investment pro forma budget type of forecast. In the end of the day, any operator has to watch, what am I spending versus what am I making? So as you're thinking about your CapEx budgets, reach out to Kim and Purnell, because we're happy to jump on a call anytime with Clair Lagon and put on our developer's hat and say, well, let's talk about your configuration on your property, your cost, and then we can assist with what's the realistic occupancy assumptions, the return on investment, and get you your payback matrix on the whole thing. At the end of the day, pretty is great and economical is even better. And we could put the two together. It's a magical thing. So I don't want to speak for Clair Lagon, but it's not really just about selling lagoons. It's about providing a success strategy for the operator. And when the math figures into that, let's all work together, all of us together on this, and partner on what's the right fit for your property that makes sense economically. What can you realistically expect for your investment? That's a conversation to have, because the numbers I put together are mind-blowing what this can do for a property. That's why we're happy to work with it. Can you tell I'm a little bit excited about Clair Lagon?
Anton, I think you were going to say something, and you were muted.
No, I was
Oh,
agreeing with
okay.
that.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful. Go ahead, Randy.
no, go ahead.
No, if you have something to say, this is our panel, so go ahead. I'm just moderating everything, so go ahead.
No, that's basically it. I think it has to make sense economically for you, right? And so I guess I'd just add one more thing to what I said, which is, when you're looking at investing at anything in your property, whether it's park models, adding more sites, building a new clubhouse or a lagoon, when you're putting that construction budget together, some of those numbers are going to jump out at you and say, wow, that's a bunch, or that's more than I thought. The end of the day, though, what is the return you're getting? Because you can spend money on the wrong things that don't produce money. I've seen it for years and years and years that somebody will put their money into something thinking, well, it's going to look pretty. And yes, it will. And I like it as the owner. Great. Did you monetize it? So there's a big difference between spending a little money on the wrong thing and spending a larger money on the right thing to get max value out of your property. And the further point there too is you have to spend money to make money. That's just the truth. That's the way it is. But the bottom line is when you see the net operating income that can come out of putting a lagoon on your property and doing the accommodations around it, one of the missing pieces is that net operating income. When you put a cap rate on that, if you were to sell your property, you can actually have accreted several $1 million of additional property value by virtue of your higher net operating income. It's just the function of mathematics. So if you can increase the value of your property by $3 million and it costs you $1.5 million to put in a lagoon, I think I'd take that bet. So yeah, does it feel like a lot of money going in? Sure. What are you getting out of it? Let's look at that.
Yeah, there's also indirect benefits. For example, we have probably 60 lagoons operating in France right now. I guarantee that if you go and Google any of them and you check the comments, I guarantee that each of the comments is talking about the lagoon in a good way, saying it was awesome for them, for the kids. Even on sites that are not really well operated but did put it in a lagoon, usually you get people complaining about a lot of stuff and then say, but the lagoon was awesome. So it's a way for you to increase the number of stars that your site has on Google. And nowadays it's crucial because people are Googling your site before they make a booking. So having a lagoon in there, usually we say it makes you, it gives you one more star on Google. And that's what we've sort of experienced in France. And it makes sure that your site is full during the season and you get more revenue that way.
It makes so
That's
much
the
sense.
most powerful form of marketing for sure is word of mouth. So is there anything else, because you are here today as our guest from France, what else would you guys like to share from your operations in France or anything else? I know we're going to have questions later and say, should have asked them about that.
I think one of them we can share is probably it takes us between 10 and 12 weeks to build a lagoon, whatever the size. That's something you should take into account. It's fairly simple and fast. What we have in France is probably different from here in the US. It still needs to be confirmed with Kim and Pernell. But in France, we're not a construction because we don't pour concrete, we don't dig too deep. So basically, you can start constructing the lagoon, building the lagoon with simply letting the city hall know that you're going to do it, but you don't have to ask for a permit. It might be different here in the US, but for sure it's going to be simpler than just asking for them to agree for you to pour concrete in a natural place, right? So that's one of the other benefits that we have in France. And otherwise, I think we're excited to have the first ones in the US popping up, and we are waiting for the first client to open and share the pictures with everyone.
Yeah, there is also one of those things that we can share that starting this year, we are introducing smaller size lagoons. And because a lot of our customers in campsites in France want to shift to a model of neighborhood inside the campsite. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Sure.
more premium neighborhoods with just a few lodgings and have their private water amenity. And in the past with Clair Lagon, we were limited in the size that we could make. Starting this year, we are introducing a new type of lagoon. So you still have bottom sand and gentle slope on one side, but on the other side, we are making those natural rocks formation, which looks beautiful with the watercolor and the landscaping around it. And this serves very well this purpose of having smaller water amenities for just a few lodging on the site.
Yeah.
So this is something that we're going to introduce in the US as well, and something that is going to be perfect for the residential market as well. So that's the news.
That is really good news and super smart. That just opens up more applications within outdoor hospitality. That's really smart.
Yes, I
Stay
love
tuned.
that. Yes, stay tuned, world.
I like that.
Well, listen, everybody seems to be talking a lot about collaboration and, getting with the right experts so that you can mitigate all of the problems and just create the properties that you want. And this is your opportunity, anyone who is listening, to collaborate with this extraordinary team of people, the creativity, the expertise, the track record. I mean, it's all here. Randy's developed this incredible calculator, so you can't miss. You come in from every angle, you've got it right. And we encourage you to reach out and to any of us, and we'd be very happy to jump on a call and talk with you and collaborate with you to make your vision come true and consequently your guests. Any final comments, anyone?
I think we're good.
Okay,
I think
so
we're
lovely
good.
to meet you. Thank you for coming on, Kim, Purnell, and our
It's a
lovely
pleasure.
brothers
Thank you,
from
Michelle.
France. Yes.